What's happening, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. Wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about refinancing, cash out refinancing, home improvement refinancing, and even HELOCs or home equity lines of credit. I get a lot of questions in regards to what's the difference between a cash out refinance and a home equity line of credit. So we're going to get and touch on that a little bit in this video. Again, I always encourage you to reach out to a lender, reach out to a financial specialist, a lender specialist, to talk about your options, what's going to be best for you. They can break that down for you in regards to a cash out versus a home equity line of credit and get into the details of why that makes sense. But guys, unless your head's been in the sand, we know that in the last 14 months or so, or even longer, inflation has been on a torrid ride up, and the Fed has been responding. So interest rates on new home purchases and refis are higher than they were literally 14, 15 months ago. And so if you were fortunate enough to buy a home or refinance your home here in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and your interest rates 2 and 3 and 4%, there's probably some reservation. You may be looking at some credit card debt. You may be looking at some installment debt and basically saying, you know what, this is, I'm kind of buried here. And it's crazy because credit card debt right now is, I believe I read a statistic, it's over $1 trillion. And rightfully so. I mean, obviously people are struggling right now. The prices of all goods and services are extremely higher than they were. And so people are having a hard time just making ends meet. So they're using their credit cards. I saw that people withdrawing from their 401k at an astronomical rate. So we're in crazy times right now, but wanted to educate you a little bit on taking advantage of the equity in your home. So if you have some equity in your home, you don't have to necessarily touch your first mortgage if in fact you were fortunate enough to have a lower interest rate. You can take advantage of what's called a home equity line of credit, or the acronym is a HELOC. What that is it actually taps into the equity of your home, leaving your first alone. It becomes basically a second mortgage, but it's operated like a credit card. It's a line of credit, which means that you can borrow against it and only pay the payments based on what you've borrowed against that home equity line of credit. If you don't have a balance on it at the time, then there's a zero payment. It operates like a credit card, but against the equity in your property, and the interest rates are going to be so much better than the 21 and 28 and 30% interest that you're paying on your credit card. Guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm sure you've heard the adage that if you make a minimum payment on your credit card and you never do anything more than the minimum, it will take you 25 to 30 years to pay that card off. So, because I know a lot of people are thinking, well, if I refinance my house or I take this out and I pay these cards off, that's just elongating my debt for a longer period of time. But guys, your installment loans have an beginning and an end. Revolving debt does not. Revolving debt, if you make that minimum payment, is going to literally stretch out for the longest time. And so that's why you have to chunk away principal beyond just the minimum payment in order to make any progress on that card. And obviously not use the cards anymore. Put them in a drawer, cut them up, whatever you got to do to stop using the cards so that you can actually get ahead of the game. But if you would like to take advantage of the equity in your home, you can do that through a home equity line of credit, or you can do that through a cash out refinance. Again, the cash out refinance is going to take that current loan and it's going to get you a new loan, but it's going to provide a cash out, and now you'll have a new payment for 30 years on that. If you just leave the first alone and add the home equity line of credit, the home equity line of credit will be a new payment, but it will only be against what you borrow at the time. But if you've got a bunch of credit card debt, if you've got some other outstanding debts that you want to take care of, you can consider a home equity line of credit, consolidate all of that, reduce your monthly payments drastically, and then take that extra that you saved and chunk away at the home equity line of credit so that you can get ahead of your debt load. It's so vitally important that you take control of your finances, understand where you're at, understand how to get debt under control, because if you don't, as I call it, compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It can either work for you, where you've got investments and you've got money working for you, or it can be working against you because the banks have lent you credit card money at 21 and 23 and 28%, and that is just eroding away at your potential wealth over time. So a home equity line of credit would be great for that. You can obviously do cash out refinances on your mortgage if you want to do that. Again, I advise you to talk to an advisor, look at your options, look at what's best for your particular situation. You can do a cash out refinance to do improvements to the property. You can do a cash out refinance to do a lot of different things, or a home equity line of credit to do all those types of things as well. So just wanted to again, clarify that, because I get a lot of questions again about what's the difference between a home equity line of credit and a cash out refinance. And again, if you've got a lower interest rate, it's probably going to be very hard to justify doing a cash out refinance to raise that interest rate versus doing a home equity line of credit where the interest rate will be a variable rate, but it will be much lower than what your credit cards are, so that you can pay all of those off and then you can begin to start chunking away and paying that home equity line of credit down, and then you don't have to mess with your first. So again, it's not a one size fits all. Again, everybody's situation is different, and I encourage you to reach out to a lender. You can reach out to me. We do standalone home equity lines of credit. I'll be glad to talk to you about the options. It's a very easy process. You get pre-qualified on a soft pull, and if you like the offer that's offered to you, you'll be funded in 5 to 7 days. And we can get into the details of that. If you're interested, you can reach out, or if you just want to talk about your finances, please reach out. I'll be glad to sit down and look at where you're at and see where you would like to go and see if we can help you do that. So hope you've enjoyed this. Hope this has given you some value to take away from it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, bye for now.